Another one that doesn't simply fit inside the screen. So we have a quite interesting case today, guys, and we're going to go through all the details that you really need to know about it. This is InWin DUBILI case, full tower, comes in two color schemes. We have the titanium gray and the champagne gold one. I got here the titanium gray because the champagne gold looks outstanding as well, don't get me wrong. Really love both color schemes, but I went with this one. I honestly don't know why. When I look at it and when I think about every color scheme that I did with other builds, I would go with champagne gold definitely. But you'll see most likely from other reviewers that they went with champagne gold, so I wanted to make some diversification from those videos. Regardless of that, this is a case that you build from scratch on your own. And InWin did something quite, let's say, intuitive to give you an instruction manual, but not with 20, 50, 100 pages of paper. They actually made an application where you could download it on your iOS or Android mobile phone, and with that you can just follow the instructions and build it yourself. So this is a build process or assembly process before the actual PC build assembly process. So first of all, short, hopefully it will be short, time-lapse video of me assembling the entire chassis without the PC inside, without the components inside, without the fans, just the case. Let's go. I guess I'll have to push the camera a bit further at the back so you guys can check out the entire case while I'm talking, but that's why we have B-roll. So, regardless of that, hope you enjoyed the time-lapse video. It was something completely different, some different experience while assembling the whole chassis. You don't have anything to bend, you don't have anything to drill, you don't have anything to do extraordinary that will be outside of your, let's say, expertise, but following those steps, and not only that, you have additional section in the application which helps you with assembling the entire PC inside the case. Regardless of that, we have loads of stuff going on inside here, and the whole process is a bit difficult to explain. That's why you have the application, that's why you can go through that and check how it is built. So I won't go into that segment because you saw it has varieties of steps, screws, thumbs. Well, these are not thumb screws, but quite nice details when we're talking about it. Now let's start. Okay, we have here a possibility to mount 9 120mm fans, and you'll be surprised because usually you don't see a case that doesn't have a power supply shroud, right? But it's carefully designed so that the cables aren't that visible, since they're going directly from the power supply next to the rubber grommet and going at the back. Now you'll be most likely questioning, is it possible to put all those cables at the back and then go with the cable extenders, because they do add some cable clutter altogether. Of course, you have loads of space at the back and you don't have to worry because you get loads of zip ties to reorganize everything, and if you really want to have a nice build, proper build, you can do that properly. Now let's start. On the front you can go up to 420mm radiator, which means either radiator or 3 140mm fans. If you go on top with the radiator or fan support, you can go up to 360 or 120. At the back we have 120 or 140, and at the bottom you can place two 120mm fans. For the occasion and just to mention it all up, I used additional 6 Neptune AN120 fans, 6 because I have 3 with the MR36 AIO, which is cooling. Well, I have to mention the components inside the AMD Ryzen 9 7900X3D, which you already saw in the MR36 review, and we have here Gainward RTX 4070 Phoenix GS. These are the components that I will use for benchmarking everything here. Now, taking the case into consideration, when we take a look at the color scheme, of course you either have black, white, or black and white, or eventually red color, and what's there left? There could be some grayish and some similar stuff. It's all in a single tone, and you don't have this varieties, white, silver, orange. It looks just epic. I really do like the visual aspect of the case. You get 3 magnetic dust filters, one is on top, one is on front, and one is at the bottom, covering up both fans and the power supply at the same time, which is quite cool. On front, well, the access to the front and the side panels is a bit trickier than you're used to. There are no pegs, there is no 2 dedicated thumb screws just for the side panels. You actually do have to have that Allen wrench and remove 4 screws for the tempered glass, 4 screws for the back side panel, and 4 screws for the front. This also gives you a bit of a longer time to clean the front dust filter. But regardless of that, I would definitely discard that part and give that extra point for the design. I won't take that into consideration as a negative part, which gives you a bit of an extra time to access some part. But that's not a big deal, because after all, we are looking here at a very, very different case than you've seen so far on my channel or any other channel. Now, compatibility. As you can see, you can place a fairly long power supply, and even if I didn't place these 2 fans, it could be much longer. And you can place on front pump press combo or anything similar to that. It's all up to you to decide, because there's really loads of space. The GPU, I mean, I don't even have to mention the maximum length, because you really do have loads of space. I think it's up to or above 400mm, which is outstanding. Of course, you don't have a possibility to mount the GPU vertically, but I think you could grab a third-party vertical GPU mount and place it here, especially since we have 2 of these fans blowing the air as a chimney effect. And I do have to mention this right here, the space between the bottom chamber, the bottom plate, and the table is around 2.5 centimeters. So what this happens is gives enough airflow for the power supply and gives enough airflow to be pulled from these 2 fans and pushed directly to the GPU, which is definitely an outstanding scenario. So the only thing that I would say when we're talking about the holes around the motherboard, we have 2 holes at the top. One is with the rubber grommet and the other one is in a different shape, so there is no rubber grommet. On the side, we have actually 4 huge rubber grommets, which go for 24-pin PWM, ARGB, USB 3.2, and all the other connections that you decide to push through there. And at the bottom, we have also 2. One is with the rubber grommet vertically positioned for the power supply cables to be nicely bent and organized vertically, so they don't create some cable clutter or something disgusting. Let's put it this way, because this case really looks outstanding. It will be a total shame. And you have another hole right here, most likely, and it was only intentional for HD audio. And in those terms, if you have a RTX 4000 series graphic card that has a 12V HPWR cable going right here somewhere in the middle of the GPU, you either have to go on this side or on that side. It would definitely be cool if the hole was somewhere in the middle, additional hole, or somewhere here near the power supply, which would make this cable run nicely like a waterfall. Let's put it that way. But regardless of that, we have loads of openings, loads of possibilities for cable rerouting for the fans, because on the front we have 3 openings, on the side next to the front fans, on top I don't have to even mention, and here for the EPS cable, that's the one that I mentioned that it has rubber grommet. Now on top I placed the InWin MR36, which really looks quite nice and blends inside the case, even though the case is silverish white and the whole interior is black. But let's check out some specs. It can support E80X motherboards with the size 305x330 and everything below that. It has 8 expansion slots, GPU length up to maximum 430mm, CPU tower cooler up to 160. Now that's really a shame because it is a huge case and I did expect a bit higher, but regardless of that, this case is something completely different. And if you buy this case, you're definitely not looking at a CPU tower cooler, so it's okay. Then at the top for the I/O ports, we have one USB 3.2 generation 2x2 Type-C, two USB 3.2 generation 1 Type-A, HD audio 3.5mm 4-pole jack, and the power button. For the internal drive base or storage, you can place up to 4 2.5-inch SSDs or 2 3.5-inch hard drive and 2 2.5-inch SSDs. At the back we have loads of possibilities to do a proper and nice cable management, especially with those standoffs. You use your zip ties, which will give you, without a doubt, quite nice organization of everything. There's also possibility to reverse the handles and the feet. This way it gives you a possibility to have a completely reversed case without removing the tray, without doing any interior modifications. You just flip the handles, you flip the feet, and that's all there is to it. We have 4mm thick brushed aluminum with quite nice diamond cut finish, which looks outstanding, and 1.2mm steel panels. Now I do have to say that here we still have the InWin craftsmanship. We have the InWin quality of the material, final finish, everything is perfect. And you know what, I thought at some point, since okay, I'm building this case on my own, and usually I do try my best to have everything perfectly aligned, but you know, there could be some manufacturer flaws eventually, especially in this type of cases where you have to build it from scratch, and misalignments. Did they happen? No. I didn't have a single misalignment. Not here, not here, not here, not here on the bottom. Literally everything was perfectly aligned, and I don't know what to say. It's quite outstanding. The shape is a bit different, but I do love the design. Now I think it's time to check out the benchmarks. DUBILI Plus MR36 on AMD Ryzen 9 7900X3D, and we have here, as already stated, Gainward RTX 4070 Phoenix GS 8080 AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, and the clock speed went up to 4800 MHz, while the GPU went up to 62 degrees Celsius. Cinebench R23, it actually was somewhat stable at 82 degrees, the Ryzen 9 7900X3D, and the clock speeds were going from 4925 to 4950, eventually touching 4975. Of course, these are all averages, so this means that the processor eventually touched 5000 MHz clock speed. And for the scores, started quite surprisingly low for 26,275, but after that it didn't even go below 26,300. It even reached 26,500, which is outstanding. And this only means that it has a nice airflow. The front is open, the bottom is open quite nicely. I mean, okay, we have dust filters, so you don't have to worry about that. But all in all, quite a different experience, an outstanding experience. Because building a case before building a PC, for some of you, it might not be suitable. But for some of you that are like me, that like building stuff, creating something new, or something that is with an instruction pre-assembled like Lego bricks or I don't know, puzzles or anything similar to that, I will take this into consideration as such, because it's really straightforward, easy to do, and you just have to read the manual properly to assemble it all together. I really like this case, and well, PC Crazy Creative Badge. This explains everything. I haven't seen such a case whatsoever, and this case deserves a PC Crazy Creative Badge. This is why they have the philosophy I build to have some different experience, and the performance is there. I can't deny that. If there's a stronger AIO than this one, you can have even better performance. So yeah, there's that PC Crazy Creative Badge without a doubt. Guys, check out the links in the description for the InWin DUBILI and the InWin MR36. eventually MR24 if you decide to go with a different case, and that would be all for today. If you like this type of content and you haven't subscribed yet, I would definitely suggest, if you don't mind, clicking the subscribe button, then like button, and then eventually the notification bell, just so you don't miss any future content. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Thank you for watching, thanks for your time, and see you soon. Bye bye.